to pay their school fees. So it forced me to pay everybody's school fees in Mandera County. Anybody who's going to a secondary school in Mandera County, public school, Mandera County government pays for it. Now we are ready to go to second year. You can imagine how much it will cost. We are talking about 24,000 school-going students to secondary schools. If I don't pay, what will happen? School dropout, no industries to work, there's no agriculture. The next thing is they cross to Somalia to be radicalized. That is only one problem. We struggle to supply drugs to those centers. You can imagine how many there. We struggle to build classrooms. We are not still talking about quality education. We are still talking about access to education. We are two different levels. In some places, people are talking about quality education. In some places, we are talking about access. That's why the illiteracy level of those countries are huge. And so, just wanted to say that, but that doesn't mean that we should not do better than what we are doing. We have already started investing in agriculture, that is food production, of course at a smaller level. We've been struggling to make sure that our lives, so the remaining ones should not die of diseases. We are exposed to so many, we are in bordering two countries where there's no formal government on the other side, and then the movement of animals from one region to another, and then the outbreak of lives of diseases. We always struggle with that. And we are also struggling with how do we provide skilled labor, the vocational training centers. I'm sure they mentioned that in the report. Because most of our people there rely for skilled services of people who come from other parts of the country. The mercenaries and people who are in construction workers. So we are supporting the chief institutions, paying them the fees, including examination fees, so that people get skills so that they create jobs instead of looking for jobs. Finally, we are aware of the exodus of teachers from those regions because of the insecurity. We were forced to do national government functions, putting up a training college in those areas, sponsoring 50% of those who are going to be trained as teachers to encourage them to be teachers, so that our hands are full. But I agree with you, we need to invest in those areas. And the investment we should be talking about is how do we create a good environment? How do we, the two things I like from this presentation is the process, and then there's peace. Where there's no peace, there's no development. And when there's no development, there's no peace. So how can we now discuss about this so that we create a conducive environment for our people or for other people to come and invest in those areas? Maybe I'll leave the rest for others to respond to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor. And, I'm very conscious that we are eating into the time of our dear PS, who's really given us time today, and we really appreciate it. So if we could ask the other panelists to be brief, we'd really love to have all of your responses.
Thank you very much. I think my colleague has largely responded. I will just quickly say my sister Jerry said something which is any investor will actually ask, and I think my friend has answered. But what I would say, Jerry, is that the laws that we have in Kenya currently are highly protective of any investor. If you pay, for example, your licenses, you have invested, you have followed all the laws, I don't think you will have a challenge. However, to fix and to ensure that you have no fears, I suggest that you are trying to give us a way forward of this meeting, which would mean we need this Interpeace to be supported again, to do feasibility studies of some of these 2 or 3 investment opportunities and have us as pilot projects. So if we do those feasibilities now, it will clear all your fears and you can be able to do it. For example, in my county, I am looking for someone to do for me a cable car, a Dominion Farms kind of project in the Kerio Valley. You know the Dominion Farms, the investor who was frustrated in Nyanza. If I was to get such an investor, it is an investment that brings the community, it marries the social capital in terms of the cooperatives, and there is a way when even another governor comes and wants to frustrate that the community are protective, they may even kill the governor because the investor is too dear to them. That is what, that is the psychology, sorry to say, that the Mexican drug lords have used, where they brainwash the whole community, school the children, help the community. By the time government wants to arrest them, it is impossible. It's the community which is protected. Why don't we apply, of course, now positively in our area by making sure that our communities are intertwined in that. Secondly, my sister from the Hello Tractor, mechanization is also does beautiful job in those regions. We even piloted sorghum harvester this year. The farmers were so excited, and they were actually almost killing me to buy them that immediately, and I didn't have the money to buy it. So I can tell you, Elgeyo Marakwet is a virgin land for that, because the mindset has already changed towards cash crop. And you are welcome with your team. You can sign with us, and we can expose you to the community. And for that, I don't need to use money. 5% is good anyway. I'll just expose you to the cooperatives and to the farmers. On Mzee here, I said, when poverty comes through the door, love goes through the window. I will add and say, poverty has huge company. When you have poverty, gender-based violence, conflict, everything follows, even health, everything follows poverty. If you are in Kiambu here, there is less chance that a woman can be even undertaken through FGM. But in Elgeyo Marakwet, deep, it is very easy for a woman to be forced to FGM because they have no voice. I am poor. I rely on the community to help me. But if I have my money, I'll tell my friend, my daughter is not going through that because I know I will pay for my daughter's fees. But if I rely on the community on food, I will have to accept. Not because I like my daughter to go through it, but because the community has said, then she has to go through it. So poverty is a very bad thing. He has talked about water, and we have that excuse. When I was doing the cash crop thing, the biggest, because I did public participation, people say, where is the water? Where will I get water in my home? I have brought, we have brought an innovative way of having water harvesting using water dam liners. So I have already initiated, over 2,000 farmers are using it, and it's revolutionary. So Kenyans like excuses, but I am more brighter than them because I've told them, if you tell me there is no water, I will have to give you a solution. So Kenyans, if you are not careful, Kenyans will always have excuses on anything. So I have also threatened them with court to take them to prison if you don't implement what I'm saying. So that has worked. Of course, I don't have a lot to use on that, but I threatened them so that they do it, and it has worked for me. And my brother talked about production. I want to tell you, even in the northern part, no investor will come to Elgeyo Marakwet or to Mandera when there is nothing to process. That is why I was pushing my people towards production. So I want to echo his sentiments and tell him that as counties, we are going to push on production so that we can be able. Finally, is on IGRTC chair, talked about cooperatives. I can tell you, if there is a beautiful story which has not been told so well about Kenya, it's about cooperatives. We have not done it so well. In my previous life, I was the director, immediately I left the bank, I was a director of cooperatives in my county for just a year. What I did in that year propelled me to be a deputy governor and to be a governor today. I can tell you, if we actually invest, and even this program should be expanded to mean to have even cooperatives, to organize the people, an organized society can do wonders, even without any external resource. Organized community can be able. So I want to say, even us from the 3 counties, we have actually to work on cooperative sector so that we can be able to transform those communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Governor. Please allow me to interrupt at the moment. Our CS has to depart, so I would like to give her the opportunity to say some final words before her departure. But the conversation has not ended, and we will come back to get the rest of the responses.
Let the Deputy Governor speak first.
Okay.
Thank you, and mine is just brief because my colleagues have touched on many areas that all of us are supposed to respond on. I will also insist on feasibility studies, areas specific maybe for, let's say, Marsabit in this area, Mandera in this area, such that even when investors coming, their work is somehow easier. I want to answer high-low tractor conservation agriculture is something new in Marsabit, because don't forget that Marsabit, the population is relying so much on pastoralism. more than 80%. So agriculture basically is something new to some community. If you go to Borana, it's something new still, because there are animal keepers. Only few, let's say maybe Burji. If you go to Logologo, you will find Rediles, and many projects have been done in Logologo, and it has not been successful. So it's because of that challenge. So it's a slow process that people are diversifying their livelihood. That is a process that is taking place. You can interact with me so that later on we can talk about how we can go about it. Then the issues of land. Most of lands in Marsabit, we've gone steps, and most of them are in the process of being registered as community land. So when investor is coming, you go through the community, and you will get a place to do the investment. As a county, we are encouraging that. At the moment, I know we are custodians of the land. Then issues to do with Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. It's a new thing also in Marsabit, but it has stayed now more than 5 years. I'm happy to have the chairman of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce here, my brother there. It's something new, but there is change, and the opportunities are there, as I mentioned. So you can liaise with our brother also to get more information. Circles are doing great work, but there is that creation of awareness that is needed all over the county. Don't forget that vast county that I mentioned about. So it is a process. There is a lot of success in that, and I wanted to mention. Finally, what has not been covered so much about Marsabit is issues to do with climate change in our report that skipped my mind. We've been given by the national biggest share of trees that we were supposed to do, because climate change has really affected our people in Marsabit. And I think it's also an area that as a country that we need to focus, because that is going to affect our livelihood definitely. And with all kinds of famine, hunger that we are going through because of this thing that is happening all over the country. And the whole world is addressing this. So as a county also, it is an area that needs a lot of attention. Feedlots, that I did not mention, is something new in Marsabit also. It's done all over the country. But Madam PS, your colleague PS Kelo recently launched that process plan in Marsabit, a place called Walda. It's a big thing that's going to take place, supported by the national government, and I'm sure it's going to change the mindset of our people about just keeping animals for fame. Most of these families, they have animals just for fame. They are not making money out of it. Even during the drought, you'll find the herder is dying trying to save the animal. That's a big challenge. It's all over. The pastoralists know that we can save our animals, but we can die ourselves. For our sister from WP, you're welcome to Marsabit. We are doing a lot of work together. We look forward to work together more. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If I may invite PS to give us some words before departing, but as I mentioned, we will continue the conversation. Apologies that we don't have that.
Thank you very much. I am really very sorry I am doing this. I rarely leave meetings midway, but I have to be somewhere in a few minutes. Please allow me to just give my final remarks. I would say the mood in this room is what we should be doing every other time. I like the passion, the energy with the consulting team and how you presented your work. That was so well done and with clarity, and seeing the opportunities we have in our 3 counties, that gives a representation of the many other counties we have. And the collaborative spirit in this room clearly shows that we are ready and it's the time for action. I would be working very closely with Interpeace, like I alluded before, that we are almost signing our MOU to make this a reality. Somebody has talked about the many meetings we have in big hotels. That is very common with government and majority of us. We would want to change this narrative of working from hotels and going back to where implementation is supposed to be happening. So it is a moment to action. It is a moment to bring all the stakeholders, all of us together, so that we make it a reality. I talked to Hassan, whom we have been engaging before, and I think it should be a frequent kind of a thing to be happening, by bringing government, bringing in the development partners, bringing in the representatives of the people like we have today, our governors, and not just the northern Kenya counties, but all the counties of Kenya, because we would want to bring everybody on board, listening to even what is happening today. There's a lot of instability here and there, issues around development. So this issue of peace is not just in the northern Kenya or in some particular areas. So we must be deliberate in integrating peace in our development as a country. So I want to give the commitment of government, the commitment of the State Department for Devolution to work very closely with Interpeace and all the other partners who are doing similar initiatives. Governors, my very good friends, we work together. This is an opportunity. It is the responsibility of government, it's the responsibility of leadership to ensure that our investors have the right environment to invest. So if we don't ensure that our areas are safe for our investors, then it can be a conversation. Just keep going round and round. And I like the different approaches which different counties have embraced. Governor, you brought in the military. You built so many police centers, but that did not change the conversation. The conversation must bring food on the table for the people. If you give people an alternative, they'll definitely not do the wrong things. By the way, the many people who do the wrong things, it's because they have no alternative. So the approach you are having in your different counties, I think it is the right way to go. So thank you very much. Once again, our commitment as government, specifically State Department for Devolution, we will be working together. We will make this a routine, just having this conversation and making sure we move this from the boardrooms to the ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, PS, and thank you for giving us your time today. We want to continue the conversation. We have about 20 minutes left.